Live spinning. It is Monday night in Whiskey Land with the August mid-month Outturn preview tasting. I'm Scott, for anybody watching that doesn't know me. Joining me tonight, someone I've known for a few years now, got to know through YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, the Scotch Test Dummies, Chad with It's Bourbon Night. But go ahead, Chad. I think most people probably know you. Introduce yourself and tell us about your channel.
Sure. Chad from It's Bourbon Night. I'm one half of the dynamic duo. Normally my better half is here, Sarah. She has to be kind of out of town right now. Otherwise, she'd be joining me. She wanted me to tell you, Scott, that she's jealous that she's not here. But luckily we have, 750s of these that we can share, so she won't be left out forever. But yeah, basically, as the name implies, we're mostly a bourbon channel, with it being It's Bourbon Night, but we have started to dip our toe into Scotch since we are taking a trip to Scotland next year. But it's mostly bourbon, American whiskey, rye, that sort of thing. Been doing it for 6 years, not as long as you, Scott, but 6 years, and going strong. Yeah.
So, and for anybody that isn't aware or came in maybe after February, in February, I took a YouTube road trip for the SMWS, and I toured around. Chad and Sarah was my first stop in Kentucky. And what did I have? 5 different whiskeys that I kind of led you through. Was it 5? We went through different profiles because I wanted to see which one of our flavor profiles most appealed to, bourbon heavy drinkers.
Yeah, so, five that we tasted. Yeah, you brought a lot of bottles.
Yeah, surprisingly to me, really, I thought maybe you'd like 1, maybe 2 of them, but I think it was the other way around. There was really only like 1 that Sarah didn't like, and then 1 that you weren't necessarily so hot on either. But surprisingly to me, the majority of them you did like once we got in there. Now then like. People in your world know, in our world, single cask strength whiskeys, they're different. And once your palate gets to like those, the world of cask strength bourbon and cask strength Scotch is pretty close.
Yeah. Then that's definitely what we gravitated to. The things a little more proof. We are admittedly proof hounds. That was sort of where our journey took us as we evolved our taste. But yeah, we found some that we were really glad to have tasted, and may have left a couple bottles for us, which we appreciated.
Hopefully they're gone, but I doubt it. I doubt you guys are kind of like me. You've got plenty of whiskey. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're not exactly killing bottles all the time over here.
What do you do? Yeah. But anyway, we did meet. The first time we met was at the Bastards Ball down in Austin, with the Whiskey Tribe. And Daniel has joined me as well for some live streams. In fact, the Bastards Ball is coming up the second weekend of September. I think it's the 9th or on the 10th or the 11th.
That sounds right.
Yeah, whatever that Saturday, whatever that Saturday is. So I'm going to be down there. You're going to be down there, and several of the other YouTube channels are there. So it'll be another good time for anybody else that's going to be there as well. Look forward to seeing
for sure.
Else. So let's get into. We've got 4 bottles to preview tonight, and I've got a 17-year-old that I want to start with, which is weird. But this is one of the most intriguing bottles I've had. And it's in our light and delicate profile, which is for a 17-year-old is kind of different. So this is it's a 17-year-old. And the thing is, I've had these. I've already tasted them. I've shot my individual reviews. This one really is light and delicate. And we're going to go to a younger whiskey next, but this younger whiskey has a little bit more punch to it. And I didn't want to lose some of the nuances of this 17-year-old light and delicate to the younger whiskey. So I said, let's do this one first.
Well, I'm liking the proof right off the bat. 107 proof. Nice.
53.5. That's probably the lowest one of the night.
All right, good. You're right. 53.5. I forgot. We're doing Scotch. We do ABV over here.
Oh yeah.
Here I am doing the math to do the proof.
No, you'll throw everybody off if you throw that.
I know. Yeah. Well, for any bourbon drinkers who are watching, 107 is a very popular proof, right? In bourbon.
That's right. So anyway, 44.148, an intricate finesse, 17-year-old Speyside, again in the light and delicate profile, second fill ex-bourbon barrel. And you can see by the color, very light. For a 17-year-old, that second fill ex-bourbon barrel had very little influence on this whiskey.
Yeah.
Now, what else intrigues me with this whiskey is this distillery uses what's known as worm tubs in the distillation process, and it can create.
Explain.
Well, it can create a kind of a sulfury, thicker, meaty kind of palate, and maybe the 17 years has kind of tamed that down. But that's to me what's weird, being in the light and delicate profile. And having the worm tub used in the condensation process is where it comes in. But yeah, let's get into it and see where we're getting on the nose.
Yeah.
Nose is definitely light, but I mean it's light citrus, light oak,
light honey.
Spice. Like what was it?
Honey. I sort of get like a tea and honey note. Of course, I get that a lot on bourbon. Yeah, light oats, barley, obviously, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of a peppery nose on it, but not much. A little bit of a spice, a little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon, black pepper. I'm getting a little black pepper on that spice.
Yeah.
But a really enjoyable nose. Sorry if I sound surprised. I don't mean to. You know what? Actually,
yeah,
it's a pretty good nose. No,
no, be surprised. In fact, I told you when I asked you if you wanted to do this with me, I kind of wanted to get a fresh perspective, with some of our whiskeys and have someone that's not used to them and see what they think. So,
well, I can definitely give you that. So, buckle up.
Light caramels on the nose. Light spices, light oak, just really, it's not what you would expect from Distillery 44 and being 17 years old. And that's what makes it so intriguing to me. But
it's a hot toddy. It's the lemon, the honey, this smells like a hot toddy or this would be great in a hot toddy.
Yeah, good call. Absolutely.
All right. Well, shall we?
You betcha. Cheers.
Cheers. Cilantro. Hey. Hey. I'll tell you what I did, Scott. Sarah got me this Bob's Burger button the other day, and it's random. Yeah, you're a Bob's Burger fan?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah,
nice. And it just dispenses random quotes. Okay. And I thought the best way for me to describe each of these is we're going to go off of what this says on the first poll.
All right.
Oh, look, I'm not gonna think.
That was not a good one. Not very intelligible.
Oh, heck!
Well, that's bad. I wasn't expecting that. Best 2 out of 3? Best 2 out of 3.
Oh, it's okay. I guess I wasn't meant to have a good life.
Okay, not having good luck with the Bob's Burger button. It's okay. We're just starting.
Like the 8-ball, you shake it up and look and see what shows
Basically,
up.
Basically, yeah.
Ask again.
Ask him later. I think that's pretty much what it just said. That's got a really unique, unique for a bourbon drinker finish that's sticking around a surprising amount of time. I mean, 107 proof is a higher proof, but it's not like a barrel, like a 130, like your bottle of Wow, 139.4, or anything like that. 107. But for a 107, it's actually got a very long finish.
Mm-hmm. I'd say it's on the lower end of high proof, at the 53.5. Quick.
Yeah,
quick
I mean, you're over 100.
Quick question from Raging Irishman. Can Scott explain what the SMWS is? Yeah, and sorry about that. I should do that right off the bat for those that are tuning in and don't know. Scotch Malt Whiskey Society started in the 80s in Scotland. Pip Hills and a few buddies went to a distillery and they wanted to buy a whole cask of whiskey for themselves. It was basically unheard of at the time. The distillery ended up selling them a cask. They went home. They shared it with some buddies. The buddy said, hey, next time you do that, we want to get in on it. And so it grew and grew and grew into we're over 30,000 members worldwide now, over 5,000 in the United States. We source single cask whiskeys from distilleries and we present them as they are. We don't add water. We don't tone them down. We don't add coloring, anything like that. The bottles are for sale. This particular bottle that we're looking at, there's 216 bottles of, and when they're sold out, it's gone. And I think one of the best things, and that what the SMWS has taught me, is that it really teaches you to enjoy a whiskey, drink it till it's gone, and then you remember it, and then you're moving on to the next one. But you may go back and, a few years from now with some buddies, and you're like, you remember that 44.148? That was a delicious bottle of whiskey. And they're like, oh yeah, that was a good one. So, yeah. But we get whiskeys from, I would say 99% of distilleries out there. There's only a handful of distilleries that don't sell, single cask whiskeys, but yeah. And there's more information. You can go to smwsa.com, which is smwsamerica.com, smwsa.com for more information on that. And yeah.
Beautifully said. See someone, Whiskey Franco in the chat saying digging his shirt. I wore this because I was like, I got to wear something that doesn't say bourbon. Whiskey. Hold on, let me just do this throughout the night. So
cover the E.
There we go. Yeah, I don't have anything that is whiskey without the E on a shirt yet, but since we're going to Scotland, we might do that.
Well, and so George Kaplan is pointing out here, and this is one thing I say as well. Distillery 44, we've had several casks of within the last couple of years. They've all, as far as I know, and the ones that I know, they've all been sherry cask influenced, sherry finished. This is the first one that I've had that has no sherry influence at all. It's only the second fill ex-bourbon barrel. And this is also the first time I've had the light and delicate profile. So this whiskey is really intriguing to me, and I think it's just a great example. It's a great example of the distillate from this distillery, and it's a great example of a 17-year-old that's being in this light and delicate profile. It doesn't disappoint at all. It's just a nice palate, nice nose, beautiful overall.
Now, you said only the second fill. How often are ex-bourbon barrels being used for Scotch?
Majority.
But do they go obviously 2 times over? Do they go 3 times, 4 times, 5 times over? Yeah. Is usually there ever a point?
Usually after it. So you'll see first fill ex-bourbon barrel, so that's, the barrel had bourbon in it. It came from, say, Buffalo Trace. Uses the barrel one time, right? Bourbon can only use a barrel one time to call it bourbon. That is correct. It has to be virgin oak. Majority of a distillery sell their used barrels then to Scotland for Scotch, and Scotch likes it because that bourbon drew a lot of that wood impact out of the, all those flavors, that deep, heavy, quick impact from the wood. And then Scotland wants to use those casks again, and a lot of that wood impact is gone, and then also allows them to age that whiskey a little bit longer, as well. So this could have had, this barrel, maybe it had bourbon in it, and then it had Scotch in it for, who knows how many years. So then it was refilled. This is the third time that whiskey's been, in that barrel. So, and we're seeing very little impact here on the color, and just a great look at the distillate from this distillery.
I guess they just use them until they fall apart, basically, right? Because,
So after the second time, you'll probably see just a refill ex-bourbon barrel. But yeah, they could use it 3, 4, maybe 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. upcycling, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that also allows you to age a whiskey 30, 40, 50 years or even longer.
Yeah.
Which you can't see with bourbon because there's just too much, impact from that wood
Yeah.
so much quicker.
Too much heat and cold over here.
Yeah. Now, what would you say is your sweet spot with bourbon? I'll tell you, with bourbon, I really like 15 to 18-year-old really seems to be that kind of sweet spot for me.
So you like a little bit of oak showing up.
Oh, yeah, I do.
And of course, with, when you're talking 15 to 18 year, you don't often find a lot that are cast strength or aren't down to like around 90, because I feel like that oak can really take over. But yeah, I love, sweet spot for me. I don't know. It depends on the distillery, because you've also got a variance in, warehouses over here, and usually if they're doing something for that long, it's going to be pretty much on one of the lower floors. But you have distilleries like Four Roses that only has 1-story warehouses, and you have others that have 9 or 10-story warehouses. But I think that the 12 to 15 is a great range as well. And then, as you said, sort of that 15 to 18, you start going much over 18, and it, I have more of an oak tolerance than Sarah does, but 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, even at a 25 year, it can just get pretty oaky unless they really water it down. And they usually are at that point, because the angel share is taking most of that barrel away anyway. So like, we got to add some water to this to stretch it out, so we actually have something to bottle and sell. So I would say that 15 to 18 is a great place, but also like that 12. We'll say 12 to 18.
Yeah, I'd throw that. I'd expand my
yeah
range to that as well. So,
and
a good point from Eric Waite Whiskey Studies. He says some companies that own bourbon distilleries, such as Jim Beam, also own Scotch distilleries. So the bourbon cask is being reused within the company. That's true. It's a good point as well.
Yeah. Beam Suntory.
I just added a drop of water on this, getting back to the intricate finesse. And see, but the palate on this is just really neat, is citrusy and vanillas, slight oaks, and really some of that meaty, sulfury character for 44. It's really way down in there, or that 17 years has just really kind of toned it down. I don't get a lot of it, which is, I love this whiskey. This one, it's very interesting, very intriguing to me.
All right, I'll put about 5 in there.
A lemon lime, a little bit of lemon lime Skittles.
Lemon lime Skittles, yeah, right on the nose. Because it's got that sort of sweetness on the back end, like a Skittle or like Annihilator. But yeah, definitely lemon lime, like it's 7-Up or Sprite.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is gonna be. I mean, this is a one of a kind whiskey. I know I haven't seen anything like this. It's intriguing to me, like I've said, with the 17 years being in the light and delicate profile, and then Distillery 44 character as well, not being sherry casked. And it's a beautiful example of whiskey from Distillery 44.
Definitely getting more of that oak after the water.
Very little spice. The spice that was on the nose, we were getting a little bit of a peppery spice, really isn't on the palate.
No, not really.
And not even really, maybe just a hint of cinnamon. You know what you'll pick up just a lot of times, you're going to pick up vanilla, cinnamon from the ex-bourbon barrels, but maybe there's a hint of cinnamon in there, but not too much. It's just really citrusy, vanilla, oak. Yeah, very nice.
If I had to put it in a world that I use to describe bourbon a lot, I often go to food. It's sort of like a sweeter barbecue sauce, like a Carolina type of barbecue, because it's got that sort of that tang in there too. And that's, I'm kind of just thinking about barbecue now. But that's me.
You were saying that, and a hint of vinegar did come to mind, which could be some of that sulfury, meaty note that 44 is known for, that comes through in some of their spirit.
Yeah, I dig it.
Very interesting.
Sweet.
All right. I think time to move on to the next one.
All right. Let's do it.
And again, I love this one. This is just a great. Well, let's look at the tasting notes on the bottle. We attended to a bonsai white pine tree and were introduced to Japanese swordsmithing of a katana before we made an origami flower bouquet.
I like it.
That's some interesting notes there.
It gives you a great opportunity to go into your voiceover voice when reading something like that. You know, you got to get closer to the mic and you got to drop it
really
down a little bit. And you gotta
bonsai tree and a katana sword.
We attended a bonsai white pine tree, and we were introduced to Japanese swordsmithing of a katana before we made an origami flower bouquet. You know, like a little bit of that, beef, it's what's for dinner. Can never remember that actor's name. Sam Elliott.
Oh, yeah. All right. Next up. We're going backwards in time. Purple. We're going to Young and Sprightly.
That's what they call me sometimes.
Now, I was going to point out earlier, I did think when I visited Kentucky and we did the stream, I had my beard had grown out a little bit. Of course, it's more gray than yours, but we both had flannel on. I think we were both wearing hats. And someone said it looked like Chad's dad. Like Chad and his dad were doing the live stream.
Couple of brawny men, right?
So yeah, going backwards. And so I mean, I was debating up until lifetime which one to do, this one or the 17-year-old first. And that 17-year-old in that light and delicate profile, I thought there might be some stuff in there we would miss if we didn't do it first. So
I think it was a good call.
Yeah. 35.299, a wee scamp, 7-year-old Speyside in the Young and Sprightly profile. First fill, ex-bourbon barrel. 58.2% ABV. It will be available. All these will be available tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for $100. And our color on this one is actually even, I would say, is a touch darker than the 17-year we're just coming from. But not by much.
Yeah. You're getting that color in stereo there.
Yep.
Color vision.
So Distillery 35 is known for kind of a fruitier, kind of more mellow spirit. Definitely more ABV, more alcohol jumps out of the glass and burns you a little bit on this one.
Oh, no burn. All good. I mean, I'm getting more familiar notes here. So this is a nose more similar to the bourbon world for me.
Yeah, and that'd probably be accurate, especially with the first fill ex-bourbon barrel. So we're the
right, yeah.
But yeah, it's still more spice on this one as well, but all the fruits as well.
Fruit and floral. But
it's not even just like citrus fruits. It's a little bit darker fruits, berries almost. A little bit of a sour.
Little pine nuts, little nuttiness.
Yeah. Almost kind of reminds me of just some sour tropical fruity notes. Like if you had sour Starburst.
Loving the candy references. Yeah.
Maybe like a sour pineapple candy, malty.
This one's a bit more of a thinker. I know there's something there. Maybe after we get it on our palate, it might jump forward.
The nose is still a little bit light. The light and delicate was light on the nose. This one is a little bit lighter on the nose. I just got, some definite buttered cinnamon. I just got.
Yeah, leaning towards brown sugar.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good nose. I like it.
Sarah's in commenting for the It's Bourbon Night channel, but she says,
there she is.
Unfair. I want to try these immediately. There's going to be plenty for you to try when you get home, Sarah.
You'll be able to try it.
And do remind me too, you've got a trip to Scotland that's coming up. You're organizing or you're doing with its Bourbon Night channel. We'll talk about that later, but remind me because I've got a link.
Correct. Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
when is that happening?
That'll be in May of 2023. So May of next year. Very close to my birthday, actually. So if you want to, have a little birthday celebration over in Scotland with Sarah and I and some other awesome people. We got 16 people. Yeah, 16 people signed up. No, 14. We have 6 spots left.
Yeah.
I think there's 14 of us so far. Yeah, good group. Real good group.
All right. Going in on the palate. Actually, I just noticed this one had pretty decent legs on it for a 7-year-old. It's clinging to the glass pretty good.
She got legs.
Yeah.
Okay. Heyo. Oh. What? That's different. That one went into my sinuses.
It's got a nice fruity punch to it. There's a lot of fruit on this one for as young as it is. Berries and citrus fruits, a little bit of a blood orange, even a little bit darker orange. Nice caramels, vanillas, cinnamon, nice spice.
Fruity Pebbles. Leinenkugel beer. The one that tastes like Fruity Pebbles. I don't know if you've had that.
No. I do like the summer shandy.
No. Oh, yeah. Summer shandy is great after yard work.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it might just be, I don't know. I'm not too big of a beer guy, but it might just be their regular Leinenkugel, but tastes like Fruity Pebbles. And this is reminding me of that.
Yeah. I'm glad we did the 17-year first because this one even has a little bit more punch on the palate than even that 17-year-old did. But a little bit of peppery, little bit of pepper. But
yes,
there's a milky caramel in there, creamy, fruity.
How do you feel about dryness on a whiskey? I feel like this one compared to the first one is a little bit drier, which sometimes for me, depending on the amount of dryness, but it can be a bit of a killer for me. I don't think this one is in that territory, but how does dryness of whiskey favor you?
I didn't. I don't mind a dry whiskey and a stringent whiskey. I'm not getting any of that on this one though. I don't think this one's really. It's got a nice finish. It's hanging in there, sweet and just citrusy, a little bit of spice showing. For a 7-year-old whiskey, that's just a really nice, start to finish with it.
Little quicker to the finish, but of course you would expect that on a younger whiskey. This versus that 17-year-old, 10-year difference here, right? But man, that rush of the palate. Like it's a real burst there, and then it kind of sizzles back. Definitely unique. Sarah's also reminded me in the comments that we're going to check out Glencairn. We're going to go to the Glencairn factory. Now that's not part of the trip. That's something Sarah and I are doing right after the trip. But and we're going to go on the Harry Potter train, which is over there, which is awesome.
Oh, you have to,
yeah.
Do they have a wall that you walk through to get on it?
I think they have that at King's Cross in London, where it's set platform 9 3/4. But this is the actual train from the movie.
Now, see, I didn't remember what platform it was. Good job.
Come on.
Yeah, I added a drop of water here. Haven't tasted it yet.
Oh yeah, let me do that. With my Glencairn water dropper. Pipette. Sorry. Call it the right thing.
Water kind of opening everything up. A little bit more of a berry note showing. Still nice malty character with it. Really sweet. Almost a honeyed sweetness here again. It's not like a powdered sugar, honeyed, citrusy, still a little bit of spicy as well. and could be very close to like the spicy and sweet flavor profile.
Yeah, not a huge change, but yeah, it does bring out more of that spice. Cracked black pepper, kind of rushing over the front part of the tongue.
Yeah,
I dig. Let's see what Bob has to say about it.
All right, ready?
Come back safe, Bobby. Don't leave me with these friggin' kids.
Come back safe, Bobby. Don't leave me with these friggin' kids. Yeah.
You ever see the one? Sorry, we're late. Bob had diarrhea.
What? Oh, Bobby.
Have you watched the movie? I haven't watched the movie yet.
No, I haven't yet. It's on Hulu, I think. Now it's on one of the streaming platforms. I would have done.
I think it's HBO Max. Could be on Hulu as well. I think it's on.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, I would have seen it in the theater, but just didn't get around to it. But now I'm glad it's out on streaming.
Mm-hmm. Again, very surprising whiskey here for. I mean, and we have people, they'll discount. They're like, oh, I don't buy 7-year-old whiskey. I mean, if you pass over a whiskey just because of the age statement on there, this is an outstanding whiskey, and I mean, you're missing out on a good. Yeah. You're missing out on a good whiskey if you do that. So.
Yeah, we did a barrel pick. Just came out. Just sold out actually. But we did a 1792 foolproof pick, and we were lucky enough to have Danny Kahn, their master distiller, do the pick along with us. And he gave us a treasure trove of wisdom, and one of them is, he says, I don't like to talk about age. I like to talk about maturity. So yeah, this is a 7-year-old whiskey, but if you want to talk about its profile in terms of maturity, it's a profile that's much older than the 7, I would assume. Again, no expert on Scotch, but in the bourbon world, I've had plenty of bourbons where I'm like, okay, this is a 4-year bourbon, but it's drinking like a much more mature bourbon. So we never let age statements scare us off or prevent us from trying or buying a bottle, because the numbers, they're a bar to kind of help you gauge, but it's not the end all be all. There's ones that can really surprise you.
And also, I mean, we have the way the SMWS works is we have a tasting panel, in the UK, and they'll go through, they get samples. Basically, people draw samples from the casks, and the tasting panel tastes them blind. They don't know what they are, anything about them. And they'll be, if they don't think it's ready to release, they don't release it. So this one obviously meets that criteria. Or not this one, but the one we just got done with meets that. I mean, It's a great whiskey. Just do a little palate cleanser there. Don't really need this one's pretty strong that we're coming into. This is a different beast here. There's no second fill ex-bourbon barrels. There's no first fill ex-bourbon barrels involved here at all. This one, I'll tease a little bit. A very well-known distillery that does sherried scotches. This is a 13-year-old. This they had, they took a few Oloroso sherry butts a few years ago and combined them. And then they divvied them up to separate casks. This one went into a first fill Oloroso hogshead. So from an Oloroso, 10 years in an Oloroso butt to 3 years in a first fill Oloroso hogshead.
There you go. 63.3.
Let's turn it on right here.
All right.
So this one's 13 years of exclusive sherry maturation. Do you see that? Yes, you saw the ABV, 63.3% ABV. This one is not messing around. And wait till you see the color on this one. I'm going to pour a hefty sample here to show.
She's pretty red.
Well, just to go back, so there was the 7-year-old we just came from, and then our new 24.167.
Yeah.
This is one of the darkest, if not the darkest, whiskeys I've ever had the pleasure of tasting. So, getting into it, 24.167. Glory days, 13 years old. So this was 10 years in those sherry butts, and then 3 years in the first fill Oloroso hogshead. Speyside in our deep, rich, and dried fruits, or DIRTIF profile, as it's become known, 63.3%, $180, one per member.
You want to give us your best documentary voiceover read on the tasting notes, or do you want to do that after we
tasting notes on the last one? We'll do that. We'll wait till we get done.
We'll wait till we do our own.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet and molassesy. Like it smells like if you pour this out on the table, it would be slow moving. And I love noses like that. You know, I love when you get this molasses or sorghum type of nose.
Even the nose is thick on this one. It's chewy. It
smells like the blood of a steak.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So the sherry, all those Oloroso sherry notes that we know and that we love and respect are here. There's toasted almonds, there's plums, raisins, dates.
Yeah.
Burnt caramel, toasted oaks,
maybe a little burnt end.
Burnt end, a little beefy.
Yeah.
Yeah, savory for sure.
I mean, if I had to put a name to it, I would say it looks like spittoon juice.
And people would still buy it. You bet.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
You
exactly.
call it that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going from two whiskeys, two scotches, ex-bourbon barrels into the sherry land now. And this is a hefty one, Chad, just to warn you. I don't know if you've had anything like this before. And I might have had a deep, rich, and dried fruits, but what I had down there was not what this is. This is, and I've had a lot of deep, rich, and dried fruits. This one is one of the thickest, meatiest, chewiest, fruitiest examples.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
My word, you do go on. All right, let's get into it.
Glorious.
Cilantro.
So, cheers. Yeah, we'll just take this. That's it, folks. Good night.
Whoa.
This is glorious. This is even of the 24s that I've had from the SMS, which have all been good, this could possibly be the best of them. It is. This sherry cask influence on this one is so rich, it's so thick, it's so chewy. All of those notes that we want from Oloroso are there. All of those toasted almonds, all of those dark fruits, all of the toasted notes. Savory, meaty, chewy. Chad, your turn.
I don't know. I'm probably going to need a second sip because that first one was more just, reactions physically. And the brain hasn't caught up to what happened yet. It's definitely unlike any scotch I've had before, which isn't saying much because I haven't had a whole lot. But I mean, in the world of whiskey, it is definitely different than any whiskey I've had before. And I'll kind of say sherry casks with bourbon can be they can be hit or miss with Sarah and I, because sometimes they can cover up those classic bourbon flavors that we love too much and sort of dominates it with the sherry. Those we won't like. The ones that really kind of find that harmony are the ones that we really love. This has a lot of sherry on it. And if I were to pour a glass of sherry, just sherry itself, I'm not going to love that. But I'm not hating what's going on right here. You know, like I said, I need a second sip because there's a lot of emotions going on. I'll just say that. So second sip.
Yeah, go ahead. This one, it's a palate pleaser. I mean, this one for me, if you love sherried whiskeys, if you love sherried bombs, this is definitely in the sherry bomb category. And talking real, are you ready? You got something?
I'm ready.
All right.
It's a little shot of A1 sauce. It's thick, juicy, tangy, creamy, great mouthfeel. Really sticks to the tongue. Taking a little bit longer to travel down into the chest, but it does, and it's sort of sticking to your ribs too, which is a note that we've given on some bourbons. And it's really cool when it does, when you're like, hey, that's actually sticking to my ribs. Like, and that happens with really thick, viscous ones. And ones that often on the nose, we've said, oh, everything we said on this one, like it's molasses, it's sorghum, it's, you know, it's stand up on its own, that type of thing. Very thick. Like for me, being not a Scotch drinker, I needed that first sip to acclimate and to recenter myself in the universe. Second sip. Wow.
Yeah. You brought up spittoon. I think you said spittoon earlier, but like
spittoon juice. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of tobacco juice or even just pipe tobacco, wet pipe tobacco that's just really sweet. And tobacco. Yeah. Tobacco.
Yes.
You know, it's just all over on this one.
Yeah. It's definitely different than when you get tobacco leaf on a bourbon. I feel like it's more, it's drier, you know, it's going to be in this sort of in the same flavor wheel of, the woods of the barrel, leather, oak, tobacco. This is more like juicy tobacco. It's a different type of tobacco feeling that I get on a bourbon, which is interesting.
Yeah, fully agree. To me, on bourbons, a lot it may be just like a cigar wrapper, or maybe the cigar leaf that's more dried out.
Yes,
this is a wet, juicy, pipe tobacco that's been in the pouch, and you break that thing open, and that smell comes out at you, or even chewing tobacco that's just wetter. And I don't chew tobacco. Tried it, never liked it. But.
Me either. Haven't even tried
it. I put a drop of water on here. Let's get into that. But like I say, all of those. And so that's what with Oloroso sherry matured whiskeys, we look for those dark fruits. We look for that tobacco, maybe some leathers, toasted almonds, the toasted oaks, all of those flavors. That's what we look for with our nicely sherry matured whiskeys. And it's all in here. This is a great, great whiskey.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. It actually reminds me a little bit of, you said this is probably the darkest whiskey you've ever tried. Darkest one we ever had was some old Stitzel-Weller juice that Preservation Distillery bottled. It was called Very Old St. Nick Unicorn Cask, and it was barrel strength 17 or 18-year-old, I believe. I used to have the empty, I must have moved it. 17 or 18-year-old, 108 point something, but that was, still cask strength. And it was just dark. It was so dark, so chewy, so thick. We poured some for a buddy who was over, and he sat with it for over an hour, just on that ounce. Just slowly sipping on it. And this kind of reminds me of that as far as like the mouthfeel, just so thick and viscous and all over everything.
Yeah. Water didn't hurt it. I don't know that I know. I mean, outside of everything, the finish may even be a little bit longer with some water, but all those same notes are there. It's gorgeous. All fact is, let's even just put a little bit more water on it and see. But it's 63.
The mouthfeel might have decreased slightly with the water for me. It doesn't feel as sticky as before, but it did bring out more of the fruit notes, I feel like, and
Juicy,
sort of
yeah.
introduce a little bit of the lighter side of it is now kind of coming through.
Yeah. But 63.3% is just a whopping ABV, and it's beautiful. Nice. So I've got two dashes of water on mine now. Yeah. Yeah. Sweeter. Definitely bringing out more of the fruits, the water. Just nice, even red grape. Add some red grapes into all of the Oloroso's notes, the dates and the raisins and the plums.
What about some dark cherry? Like almost like some what's the cherry that you put in a old fashioned? Come on, Chad.
Luxardo?
Yes, thank you. Luxardo. It's almost like the juice, the Luxardo juice that's in the.
Now, see, I would almost go
glass.
the dark cherries themselves, that you buy at the fruit stand.
Yeah.
With the pits, chewing on them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's different. That's different.
All right, we're 3 for 3 so far with Chad.
Yeah.
I like the fresh perspective.
Surprising.
So,
I mean, I'm surprised. If I don't like something, I'm gonna say it. So far.
Yeah. Woo. Beautiful. All right.
Very nice.
We talked about that one enough.
You want to do your reading?
You want to read it? You got it. You got the voice. Go ahead. You got it.
Don't encourage me. A very classical, juicy, sherry-dominated take on this legendary space cider. Single malt originally from Oloroso butts, married in this cask.
Right. Not too much for notes there, but I think Chad and I had it pretty well covered.
Indeed. Let's see. I haven't done Bob's take on this one. Let's find out. Okay, just Tina being Tina.
That's what I sounded right. That's what I sounded like when I first tasted it.
Let's see. I have not opened this one yet. So this will be.
Mamuka says, whatever they are saying reminds me of a Deanston 20-year-old or a Glendronach 18-year-old. Times two. No, times two. Yeah. I haven't had the Deanston 20 Oloroso. No, wait, I have had a sample of it at the Scotch Core Dummies. Very good. And the Glendronach 18-year, I've had several bottles of. Very good. But no, they're
nah.
A little
equalizer here.
Bourbon Bites. Clifton had some Deanston 20 on Saturday night.
Hey, Cliffy.
A little palate. I'll tell you what, that one we just came from, it's so thick, so rich on the palate, and we're going to a peated whiskey, but
I'm full.
I still want a little bit of the palate cleanser in there because it was. These are both good examples. Now I know, Chad, as well. In the past, you haven't been as high on peated whiskey. We're gonna find out what you think here.
You are correct, sir.
But this is a well-known distillery. People like this, the whiskey from this distillery, and I'm one of them. I think they're doing a great job. Cask 42.75, Coastal Convolutions, a 14-year-old Highland in our peated category. Refill X Bourbon Hogshead, 58.4%. Go ahead.
I read that as Coastal Convulsions.
Oh.
And I was like, that's a ballsy move. Convolutions. Oh, it's so light.
Yep.
Which just
we're back
as a bourbon lover boggles the mind because we're what 58.4. That's whatever that is times 2. And in the bourbon world, that would be as dark as what we just drank. But obviously it hasn't had the influence of another whiskey besides the bourbon, because it's an ex-bourbon.
It's a refill ex bourbon hogshead. So this could be the third time that whiskey, or the fourth time that whiskey's been in this barrel. 14 years. So yeah, very light influence here from a 14-year-old in that hogshead. I mean, don't let color affect your judgment though on whiskeys, because we're gonna get a little bit of a palate puncher here.
Palate puncher. You're just naming them here, palate puncher. Oh, whoa! I didn't have to put my nose up to it. I got
smoke. Oh
yeah,
but it's citrusy. That, I mean, there's a sweetness in there. There is peat jumps right out of there at you. But a citrus, just a nice citrus, lemony, limey, salty, smoky goodness.
Okay, we're not in Kansas anymore.
I am.
Oh yeah, you are. You're still in Kansas anymore.
I'm still here. Now I don't remember if Sarah liked when we was there and did the tasting. Did she like? Oh, I had the 27-year-old Vaults collection. I think. Did the older one?
I believe so. Yeah.
What do you remember about you or Sarah liking it? Well, I guess she's watching. She's still watching. Sarah, did you like the peated whiskey? If she's still in here. Yeah, she was commenting a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I think so. I remember not being super turned off by it. It being probably the least favorite of the offerings, but it's not like other peated scotches that we've had in the past, and maybe this one might be the same. I mean, you got a great track record, Scott. You haven't really steered us wrong so far.
Well, I didn't have too much to do with this lineup, though. I didn't have too much to do with this lineup, though. I mean, it was pretty much predetermined. So,
Scott, when you can take the credit, you take the credit. You'd be like, "Yeah, thank you."
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did an analytical analysis of the numbers last time we were together, and
crunched some numbers. Okay. I probably won't be too much help on the nose department in this one because it's harder for me to get past, that barrier.
Yeah. Peated whiskey does take something, what I would say, on the job training, where the more that you do, the more that you start to, you got to be able to look past that peat, sometimes, or even at the peat and see what kind it is. But I mean,
stare it straight in the eye, show no fear. Stare it down.
Mamuka says that Scott is a reason he became a member.
There you go. No better reason.
But no, there's a nice salty, lemony, lime, citrusy peat here.
Sort of reminded me of, was it the second? Yeah, our second one, a wee scamp. I think that was the one that had a lot of those lemon lime, especially after we added the water. So I am getting those connections here.
Mm-hmm. Malty.
Yeah, malty. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying here. I'm digging deep.
The best, so those that are watching, and you can't right now because you probably don't have another peated whiskey. One of the best ways to do peated whiskeys and to learn is to have 2 or 3 lined up and kind of go back and forth and try them. A lot of times, once you get peat on your palate, the other notes start to show because they're all peated. But then you might be like, one has more of that citrus lime, one has more of a toasted oak, one has more of a earthy, smoky peanut goodness. So I mean, it just kind of go back and forth with them is a really good way to learn peated whiskeys.
I was looking through our samples that we have right here because some people like to send us a Scotch occasionally, especially if they think it's one that we would like. But I'm not seeing any right here. But
Tammy Brennicky is tuning in. She says she's late, but I'm here. Scott and
Tammy.
Chaz.
So Chaz is after I've had a few, I turn into Chaz. I don't know if we're there, Tammy, but
I know. I think me and you both that Sarah was a couple times was a little thinking we were both turning into Chaz. I guess maybe.
Yeah. Well, she becomes Sarah with an H. You know, she's a Sara, but when she gets to Chaz level, it's Sarah with an H. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's get in on the palate on this one.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is an oily peat. This is a industrial peat. Creosote. Peanuts, smoked peanuts are in here. Citruses, powdered sugars, salty, smoked fish. Ooh.
Wow. I gotta say, let me just say, Scott, that took that sip, I was kind of like, here it is. But as you were listing those things off, I was like, oh shit, I see that.
Check.
I see that.
Check.
I see that.
Check.
I don't know. No, I see that.
Check.
Like, wow. It's not just your, the normal words get thrown around when people are drinking peaty that don't like peated stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, this is a great. So you've got Isla is the main region for peat, and a lot of stuff that comes out there is really heavily peated. It's kind of a different peat. And then you get into the Highlands, and there's different regions with different peats. Mm-hmm. Highland is known for a little bit lighter, heathery peat. This one's a little bit more not coastal, a little bit more industrial, oily. That creosote kind of.
Yeah, definitely oily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know. Is there one that's more of the sea? Like I'm getting a little, inexperienced peat drinker here, but a little brininess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a little maritime character, I would say, kind of a
maritime character. There you go.
Yeah. Sea salt, almost a little. It's like almost like an algae or moss.
I want to be on a boat right now.
Seaweed.
Is the through line? Yeah.
I was thinking seaweed wrapper, like with sushi. If you eat
sushi,
okay, yeah, seaweed wrapper.
Mm-hmm. Sure do. Here? Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this is nice. Mark is saying Scott and Chad joined SMWS after your first IBN chat. Well, that's very nice.
Oh,
that's awesome. Very cool.
Mark Hughes. Very good. Wow.
We'll just see that.
Oh, get a drop of water on this one. Yeah, on the palate on this one, neat. Again, it's peat. There's some slight citrus sweetness in there. Some roasted nuts, maritime, all that sea salt, seaweed, smoked fish, almost more like a smoked whitefish kind of. It's not a real heavy fish flavor, but just kind of a lighter, flaky, good, meaty fish.
So we're not talking Long John Silver's or Captain D's here. We're talking more of a nice
probably
fish
fresh.
Place.
Yeah, probably
up
fresh. You're on the Gulf.
Yeah,
that fresh.
You're on the Gulf.
Oysters and some nice grilled whitefish.
Although I can almost smell malt vinegar.
Well, yeah, not too far off. No, another beautiful example, 42. We've had a few 42s lately. This one just another. I love what 42 is doing, and this is another great whiskey from them.
Where is the 58.4? I don't taste the 58.4. Where is it? It's if now I have no real meter for guessing a proof on a peated Scotch, but if I had to guess, I'd probably say 95 proof.
Yeah, probably
100 maybe, proof.
Maybe 51, 52%. Yeah, it's
maybe
yeah. It's hidden in there.
It is for
it's nice.
Sure hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Bob thinks about it.
Okay, everyone, great job back in the kitchen.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. That
Great
one's
job.
paid off.
Back to making the fish. They're making fish burgers now.
All right. The tasting notes on the bottle: Coastal Convolutions.
Go for it.
A
Channel it.
robust and hearty run around the
yes.
shoreline and the farmyard. Many surprise aspects, such as sweetness and fruit, where they shouldn't be.
Oh. Give it up, chat. Give it up for documentary voiceover reading Scott. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, we're is this a good time to talk about our Scotland trip?
Let's do it.
Because I want to, let's see. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Zach, that's not even right.
Oh, it's over here. It's over here.
I had, I've got your link here too. So Chad is going to tell us It's Bourbon Night is organizing a tour of Scotland next May.
Yeah. It's going to be 7 days.
If I can get it posted, let's see.
It's a maximum of 20 spots. We have six spots left. We're going to be staying in some nice hotels, 3-star and up over there. Breakfasts and a couple dinners are included. All your travel while you're there is included. But a lot of, city walking tours, a lot of castles, and then, of course, some distilleries. So we're flying into Edinburgh, doing the Johnny Walker experience, Loch Lomond visit. We're taking a ferry to Islay, going to Lafroig, Bruichladdich, Kilchoman. Thank you. That's what I needed. Kinnacraig. I know we're doing more distilleries. Where does it list just the distilleries? Let me see. Maybe not. I might be on the wrong page for that. But 5 distilleries. We're going to Oban. Oban is one of the distilleries. Yeah, but five total, and we're spending a whole day on Islay and a lot of the popular places, castles, and we're talking about some extra little bonuses while we're over there. I don't know if I can really talk about that yet, but just know that we're working on it. Of course, I'm sure a lot of your viewers may also know Roy from Aquavite. He is a mere a hop, skip, and a jump from Edinburgh, so I think we're definitely going to try to hang out with Roy, which is worth the trip, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Just for that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a real good time. The link should be down there if you guys want to check it out and continue this party over in Scotland.
I'll post it again on that comment, so hopefully it shows up about the same time there. But yeah, click on the link and
awesome.
Check out.
Appreciate it.
Chad and Sarah's trip.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It'll be our first time over in Scotland for sure. Sarah's first time overseas, so it'll be great.
Well, Chad, sorry Sarah couldn't be here. I know she's here in the chat. Wish she could have been here tasting these. She'll have her chance to go through them though. And
for sure.
I'll have to talk to you guys in Austin and see which one. Just Sarah, if you're still watching, make sure you taste them before Austin, and then kind of give me a debrief when we're down there.
Well, I'll say this, Scott. This of Peated that I've had, this is definitely one of the better ones.
Good.
I would gravitate towards the other 3 from tonight. That's just me. As I'm sure you know, it takes a while to get into the peat for some people. It's definitely a strong flavor and something either you gravitate towards or you have to experience.
Some people do right off the bat. I think that's the minority, though. I'm not sure. I'll probably get a lot of hate comments there, but I mean, it took me several years to get into peated whiskeys, and Bart and I had gone through. I don't remember how many. And Bart was buying Lafroigs. He was buying Ardbegs. He was buying all these whiskeys. And I would just be like, oh, what are you doing to me? Why are you buying these? And then finally, he bought Lafroig 18 year. And when we shot our review of it, I said, and I can remember, I was like, I'm not a fan of Peat, but I can tell this is a good whiskey. I like this one. And that kind of started the transition. And then there was a Brook Lottie that came up later that did the same thing that really kind of then turned on the Peat, in my head that made it go that way. So, yeah, but some people just immediately take to Peat and some take a while. So,
yeah.
You're a cast strength whiskey guy. So, we're in that realm. And so it's just kind of exposure and just getting to try more. And that was why I was kind of wanting to bring you in just for kind of fresh perspective and kind of see where you were at. And you haven't really, I doubt you've probably had too many scotches since February.
You would be correct in that. Again, look.
Yeah.
Literally surrounded by bourbon, and I love that.
How'd you guys come out with all the heavy rains? You guys were far east of that, weren't you?
We were okay. Luckily. Yeah, we were fine. But other people, not so much, unfortunately.
All right. Well, hey, thanks to everybody that tuned in. And Chad, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. And
hey, my pleasure.
Scotch Malt Whiskey Society whiskeys are not for swigging, glugging, or knocking back. Please drink responsibly. Cheers.